All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to this, again, short notice, but also long awaited match. KFPL has been going on all summer. Again, this is a Keyforge Premier League hosted by KarenB, and it's been awesome. Summer's a very busy time, lots going on, especially with the Vault Tours going on. So, this match has been postponed for a little bit, but it's such an epic match. We had to get it on here. And that is a double header of matches between Nova, aka Elaina, and Karen. Basically, both A and B bracket, both of these players have gone undefeated, and they have both met each other in the semifinals of those brackets. So we've got some really awesome stuff here. Just going to look at the decks really quick. I believe they are starting with A bracket, which should be Oakhorn versus Snooki. We've got Karen is going to be on Oakhorn, and Elaina is going to be on Snooki. Worlds Collide versus AOA. Should be a really interesting matchup. A lot of bounce in Snooki, and this deck looks like it's excited to see a lot of bounce. So we'll see how the creature control plays into that. But again, we've been waiting for these for quite a while, so I don't want to hold this up anymore. Good luck to both the players, and let's get in here. Let me find my link to that match quick. Gave me the okay. All right, we're in. Everybody, let me know if audio is looking good. Everyone is saying lots of emojis. That should be a good thing, right? Let's get this full screen. Good to go. Yeah, I'm super excited for this, and I'm gonna hide my face like last time. I like having it there, but this match is just so intense. I want to make sure everybody can see everything. So let me do that really quick. If I can remember how to work this. Man. All right. So, like I said, we've got Karen at the bottom running Oakhorn, and Elaina at the top running Snooki. Elaina coming hot off the trails of both U.S. Nationals win and a Vault Tour win. We're not going to see Jacques playing in this doubleheader. Jacques is still on the table, though, in C bracket, so we might get to see that one later. So neither of these are the Vault Tour winners from recent times, but I'd have to look and see how they've done in the past. We did get to see Snooki play against Caruso a while ago. It was a very intense match with a sack of coins for like 30 damage, blowing up all 5 of Caruso's eddies in one turn to be able to sneak past that last key. Epic match if you didn't watch it, but let's see how this one goes. Got the Knuckles Bolton right away from Elaina, and let's see here. So again, this is just going to be a really interesting match. There's a lot of taxing Amber control on Oakhorn's side, and a lot of creatures with play effects, and a lot of Snooki's creature control, aside from that sack of coins, is things like the Nature's Call with the bouncing and stuff. So we'll see how that plays in. We do have the Cloaking Dongle right away, and we've got double Archimedes coming down. Let me see. Doesn't quite have the normal Archimedes combos of like Shark or BDQ, but still double of those can do some work. But we'll see what this Star Alliance does. I feel like this Star Alliance board can be pretty scary if you don't have a lot of direct creature control, especially if we start seeing some I don't know if there's many wards in here. We do have the Hazardous now from the Arms Master Melina. But really not even enough power on the board to fight this off at all. And standardized testing at the moment would increase the card size. Yeah, I can take a look at that. Let's just do a zoom, maybe. I don't know if that'll mess things up. Is that a little bit better? It's still pretty small, isn't it? I can do one more. We'll try that for now. We'll see. With these two houses, or these two sets, I'm not expecting huge boards coming down. I did want to just see what happened on that turn though. So we've got the Fog Bank and then Lupo the Scarred and then Nature's Call. So we did see the yeah, just 2 damage from the Lupo, so it was not able to do anything there in terms of killing. So we will see the Kirby and the Garcia coming back down, but there's at least some power on the board now to be able to deal with that hazardous Melina. And we are already at 5 Amber for Karen. Snooki, though, sitting on 3 Miasmas, so I would not expect Karen to get key too soon here, but we'll just see what happens. Karen having to think about it. I should have gotten more water. I was expecting these games to be played very fast. Both of these are very knowledgeable and usually pretty quick card slingers, so I want to just make sure I'm covering things as fast as possible, but I may miss stuff here. Got Riku coming in to just watch. Doesn't want to watch the stream. I see how it is, but... And we do not have the visible hands, which is fine. This is a very high stakes game, so I don't want anything distracting the players. Linasu, same thing. They're not wanting to watch the stream. Oh, here we go. Supporting teammates, I'm cool with that, Riku. That is fair, but I also don't mind the support over here. And you all are good at catching stuff that I don't, especially when these games start going quick here. But Karen taking some time to think through this turn. Again, yeah, we've got the Star Alliance in hand, and since she's already called Star Alliance a couple turns, there's probably not much else, so probably not going to get a lot of draw this turn if the Star Alliance comes back down, but we will get some house cheating with the Kirby. Going into a Nature's Call, so I would guess that Lupo goes back just to remove the fighting presence. And I'd probably... It's hard to say if you bounce the Kirby here. It really depends on what else is in your hand. Otherwise, bouncing all 3 of these is really nice for gumming up a hand with just a lot of creatures. Yep, and that's the direction Karen decides to go there. Just a lot of slowing down that efficiency. I've got the Melina, and we'll probably see that Garcia come back down as well, and that will be check for Karen. But we won't get another proc off the Kirby this turn. Oh, and Cat Tribal, sorry, if you ever want me to hover over anything, I can. I do the like half card screens or whatever. It's this is going to be hard to do without assuming everybody kind of is familiar with the stuff, but I'm more than happy to hover over stuff if there's anything you're wondering about. And I'll try to call out card names as well. We do have the second Kirby coming down already, which is just tons of efficiency pressure. I did not count the number of actions in this deck beforehand, but I'd guess those Kirbys have plenty of ammo. Gotcha, for sure. I'll definitely catch the upgrades as they come down and try to call things out on here too. Again, things are just going fast. Or they were at the start there, and I had about 5 minutes to prep for this to start, so... Man, more Star Alliance creatures coming down, which means Karen is still getting some cycling going because of those Kirbys, and now we're going to get a little bit of top deck manipulation here with the Navigator Ali, which means we could see, I think we've already seen the Wild Wormhole, right? Yeah, so we're not setting up for any kind of Kirby into Wild Wormhole plays. I don't know if there's anything else that plays off the top here. Yeah, Neutron Shark won't come down from a Kirby. We do have an Instrument of Silence on the Garcia. Is kind of an interesting call there. But we are going to get the tax. Garcia fighting the Archimedes there, kind of getting the free fight because of the elusive, and then the Melina finishing off that Archimedes. So that will be a no key for Elaina, and going up to 5 for Karen already here. Lots of pressure. Again, this deck does have the miasmas. It does have some stealing and stuff with the Bren the Fanatic, but that kind of takes some setup, so I think this deck really wants to have the tempo. But again, those bounce effects are not quite as good against all this Star Alliance play effects here. Okay, so that 2 damage on Melina is relevant, the Lupo being able to come down and take that out. So now this board is at least fightable with some of these smaller creatures. And we do see the Nature's Call. Yeah, just goes for more Star Alliance, just trying to force Karen to at least keep going into that house until she runs out of actions, basically, to use the Kirbys with. But even with just a single Kirby here, there's a good chance that Karen goes into check again. But we haven't seen any shadows yet from Elaina, so there's got to be a pretty big archive of those and probably a decent amount in hand. So we'll probably see a pretty big burst and some stealing going off there. Trying to see. Yeah, there isn't really a good way. There's one life for life, so there's a way to kill Brend. I was trying to find that. Karen going into Logos instead of the Star Alliance, though, so just trying to get a little bit more of that cycle going and dealing with that Glimmer. Elaina deciding not to do the Glimmer Nature's Call combo there. Probably not quite enough tempo, especially against this many play effects. Almost every creature in Karen's deck has a good play effect, so just really hurts the strength of those Nature's Calls, which are usually very strong removal tools. Okay, and we've got Karen going up to 7 there, a ward on the Eddy as well, and 2 in Archives. So we're just going to tax for the full 8 there, letting that key go through instead of, I guess Garcia, with only 1 Garcia, we're probably still going to have that key go through anyways. So this is basically just getting a little bit more efficiency, but we do know there's still 3 of these cards, unless they were archived, are Star Alliance. But we do have a chance to kill one of the Kirbys here and to remove something from Archives. That's actually a very significant thing there to see if Elaina goes back into Untamed just to try and ping something. My guess is that's Untamed stuff that you're not super concerned about just because this is here, but we'll see. We'll see what the call is from Elaina. Again, I would expect, because we're at check at 7, I'd expect to see some of that shadows coming down just to stop the key. But there should be a decent amount of Logos. Well, I guess a lot of the Logos has been killed at least. I thought one of the Archimedes might still be in hand, but looks like not. Yeah, perfect taxing. It's a thing of beauty. And 2 different ways to do it here too. And we didn't get to see what got discarded. So we lost a Mab the Mad and a Garcia's Blaster from the Igor. Seems kind of significant there. Because we know Garcia is still in hand, right? So we could have gotten that Garcia's Blaster value. So obviously looking for something else, probably one of those Logos cards that came down, like the Twin Bolt. Just getting for the immediate value instead of looking down a couple turns here. But we see an Untamed call. So just gonna do some more disruption, get some creatures, probably more creatures on the board, and probably do some fighting with these guys. But that does mean we're gonna see the key coming through, because there is no mimicry, and 3 creatures have not played, so Life Web is not doing anything. See the Logos being called there. Still a rough call. Like, do you fight the Kirby or do you fight the Eddy here? And do we have more creatures coming down? So we've already lost the Regrowth. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what else happens on this turn. That's probably what Elaina's thinking about right now, is just how to use this board to the most efficiency, and if it's worth fighting for that Archives. What else could we see come down here, though? There's still a second Nature's Call that could come down. Fogbank is gone. Lifeweb could just be played for the Amber, and then we might just see a couple more creatures, but not too many. It's just the Fang House, I believe. And Darna. Darna could come down for a little bit of value. Choosing to fight the Kirby for 2 damage. Okay, and then we're going to see the Nature's Call, so that Lupo will be able to come down and ping the Kirby for the rest. I wonder if you strip the ward here. You might as well. Because you don't... Oh, looks like she goes for bouncing the Igor. Is relevant. The Igor is not really able to... Well, really, there's still... Is it 2 Kirbys? 1 Kirby in hand still, and you can't get the Igor out with the Kirby. So it is kind of forcing a little bit more Logos, but I'd say there's probably still a decent amount of Logos left in the deck, so I don't think that Karen's too upset about that. And we did get the ward pinged off the Eddy as well with the Nature's Call, choosing to only bounce the Lupo and not heal the Tantadlin, which I think makes perfect sense, especially because that Darna is in there as well. We see the Star Alliance Brigade coming back down. Actually makes for kind of an interesting call keeping this alive because your standardized testing now hits this, which I guess is better than hitting Lupo, but is still unfortunate that all you're going to be able to hit here. I guess hitting all the threes would still be good unless we see a lower power creature come down, which I don't know. There's not one in Star Alliance, so yeah, if Elaina's found that, that could be a really big turnaround here. That Kirby getting bumped up with the... Oh, Darna was discarded. Oh, you're totally right. Good call, Astron. Yeah, I would say, yeah, it could be just not worth it to heal the Tantadlin. Could be to save the Lupo from standardize, or just stripping the ward is more important. So, got a sad Sucker Punch coming down. Not going to be able to kill anything here. And you have Life for Life maybe, and that's going to be able to kill anything anyway. So it could be Throwing Stars coming down. We do see the Miasma. 2 Miasmas coming out. It's been played for the Amber Pips here. And going to check. I would assume that's not going to last with the Star Alliance board. Well, it's not checked yet because of the Eddy anyways. So we'll see. This looks like a tough spot for Elaina, but got the Knuckles coming down. And the Brend. So there's a little bit of a threat, but we also have, let's see, Nature's Call has already gone on this side, so I don't know if we have a clean answer to that Brend now till we cycle. But you also don't have your Hazardous on the board because the Molina is gone, so the Brend can't really... Oh, looks like we're just going to get a sack of coins, probably just blow it up anyways and get the big steal here. Which is very tough. Like, you've got 7, and if you want to kill like this Kirby, that's going to be 5 of them. If you want to kill this Eddy, that's going to be 3 of them. So very tempting to kill the Brend here, but the question is, yeah, she decides it's not worth it this turn. There'll be another time. Again, that Life for Life still coming. Just really needs to deal with this Star Alliance board. Okay, so cannot stop the check with just what's on board here, but we should have another Eddy coming, I believe. Especially with that Igor being back in hand, we can probably find it pretty easily. Yeah. And then I would assume that ward is going to be going down on either the Eddy or the Kirby here. We'll just take a peek at what gets discarded by that Igor. Rustic Murmook and Hapsis, pretty fair. At this point, you're not really concerned about fighting for the board. And that 7 tax is just going to slow you down from forging the last key. Especially if you're planning to stop the key here with an Eddy. Ooh, and we see the Neutron Shark. It's actually kind of tough what you hit here. You might actually just hit like the Lupo and then the Shark. So I don't feel like you want to kill too much else. You can kill the Igor, but you also, if you didn't see the Eddy here, you don't want to mill it. So how much do you hit with this Shark? I'd say maybe the 10. Oh. All right, what am I missing here? I guess we might just get a stronger tax. Just assuming that that Brend is going to get blown up next turn anyways by the Life for Life, so at least going to be able to try and force your own game with it. Neutron Shark does trigger again off the Call of the Wild. And there we see it destroy itself. Oh, we've got the Cutthroat Researcher, or Research. I missed that one. And a Thorin Plasmate for nothing. The wards, we are not going to see the Eddy here, my guess is. Yeah, did not see the Eddy, which means we should have one in hand now, but it is 2 keys to 2 keys, and Elaina still has at least 1 Miasma, still has the Life for Life, and probably lots of random logos. Discards the Standardize as it just kills your own creatures here. Just unfortunate. There were better turns for that for sure, but it just didn't line up. The lab work. Probably just digging for that shadows lineup so you can kind of burst ahead on that miasma turn. Because really, you probably only have to get to 7 or 8 consistently. I mean, 10 would be the ideal number against this. Just going to be tough with the Brend already gone. Okay, we got the Lay of the Land coming down from Star Alliance. We've got the Kirby reaping, getting the capture there, getting a free out-of-house play. Ooh, Pip though, doing some work. There's an argument to fighting here first with the Ishii, but we're probably just going to burst with that Song of the Wild play. Garcia coming down early. There are ways to fight to it, but you'd have to call a couple houses to do it. And we're going to get awarded anyways. But we do still have the Life for Life, which it's still tough to get that off the board. Yeah, this is a tough position for Elaina for sure. I do see the Shadows Call. Gonna need that miasma coming out. Sack of Coins is already gone, so there's miasma. So you're not really going to be able to... You could strip the wards with the throwing stars. I don't think we've seen that come out yet. But you're not really getting the value off of it. You really need that burst this turn to re-threaten so that, yeah, they don't have a turn to respond, basically. There's the throwing stars. Again, I'm assuming this is just going to hit the wards. There's an argument to... Yeah. Just hits the Medic Ingram there. Lights Out, again, just does not feel great against these Star Alliance creatures, especially with this one being stunned. Yeah. So are going to be able to get to check here. Actually, the Knuckles Bolton will be able to fight the Garcia now. So that's actually very important. But the problem is, do you get to check if you do that? We might have the Life for Life still, but might not. We did not pull the archives this turn either. Oof, this is getting tense. If this dies, it basically has to be an Eddy, which Karen should have in hand. I think we only saw one on the first playthrough. But that reshuffle definitely removing some of that information. So we'll see if, I mean, I'm sure Elaina is more on top of where things are in this game than I am. But we do see the little Nif coming down, which just gives a small chance of fighting back here. On top of, oof, not having the reshuffle, though, is huge. Just one card short, so that means no miasmas next turn. There's no draw, right? Have a Dust Chronicles. Yeah, so this Star Alliance turn will probably lock things away. Yeah, because we also don't have like a Twin Bolt taking care of the little Nif anyways. Second Kirby coming back down, getting picked up off of the reshuffle. And early Star Alliance board just showing what it can do in Worlds Collide still. It's very impressive. Cauldron Boil for some extra amber. Getting up to 12 this turn most likely, unless, yeah, no reason to fight. And yeah, that's both of our Kirby procs used too with the Twin Bolt. Ooh, we do have the Life Web going off there, but no key cheat, and that Untamed is probably going to lock it away here. Yep. And Karen takes the first one. So there you go. That was a bracket. So Karen is now undefeated. What's funny is because this is a double elimination tournament, both of these players could still end up playing each other in the long-term finals there. One of them will have to fight back through the brackets, which I was gonna pull the bracket up just so we can kind of take a look at things here. So that was a bracket. Really quick, next decks are going to be very fast. I'm guessing Professor Essa on Karen's side, and then Shrewd Anteater on Elena's side. We'll take a look at those once the game gets going. And it looks like I didn't get the bracket up. We'll take a look at the brackets afterwards. But there you go. Great game one from both players. Excited to see game two. Again, this one is going to be a barn burner with 2 coded decks. We'll see how it goes. So just off the bat, Professor Essa for Karen's side has a really, really gross library access turn with some wild wormholes and I think a phase shift with the hysteria and stuff in there. And then Anteater is a little bit more of a doing the control side with double control the weak. Yeah, I mean these are both decks you don't want to mess with. Like they're terrifying. Anteater's got the triple mother. Time Traveler does not have the library access though, so a little bit more of just like the consistent efficiency instead of the big burst. But again, that double control the weak can be super important. The double life ward as well, as there is only the Whispering Reliquary as far as artifact control in Professor Essa. So this will be a really interesting game. It could just be kind of who gets the early burst, since we don't see too much crazy Amber control. We do see the Effervescent Principle on Anteater's side, and it's really not a ton on the Professor Essa side. Both of these decks just want to, yeah, go ham, outpace the other, make them sad while doing it. So we got the early mother. Yeah, these are both terrifying decks. And we've got the counter with the Succubus, so there you go. I can't help you with the rhymes. I'm gonna try and focus on the game. You all can come up with that one. So we basically got the draw negating from the Succubus here. Mother could just fight that. I mean, there's probably a lot of ways you can kill that on this turn. Do you have the Mind Barb for a Wild Wormhole, which does hurt. Wild Wormholes are pretty darn good in Professor Essa, but we do see the Life Ward coming down. I think those Life Wards paired with the Control the Weaks are going to make it really hard to get that ideal library access turn, or just make it so it comes a little bit later than Karen's going to want to. Because library access is hoping for like that. It's very creature dependent, and actually this whole deck is probably a lot more creature dependent than Anteater is. Anteater is they're both fairly creature forward, except for the Dis, and Anteater is a lot more kind of action and control based. Interesting call there, just Shield of Justice and doing a fight on the mother with the Succubus. So I would say a little bit slower starts than probably either of these are wanting to, but I know handcrafting is definitely a thing with these decks. Even though you have the logos, Coda Logos just kind of feels a little bit different, and especially with the library access, you do kind of have to make a lot of very conscious decisions to get that where you want it to be. Got a Titan Mechanic coming down, just more beef on the board. What do we have for creature control? Got the Hysteria. And we got the Fighting from the Zakiels. It's really not a ton on Karen's side, so Could actually be an interesting fight for the board in a Coda game, which is not something you see super often. And then just a reap from the mother. So choosing to not kill the succubus and just get that kind of maintaining 6 amber here. We do see a second succubus coming down though, so answer is going to be needed soon. And then we've got the Overlord Grecking getting our biggest power in the match on the board. Makes that 3 fates a little bit more tempting, because you can now hit your Schuler and the Grecking. So we're going shadows. So we haven't seen shadows yet from Elaina. What are we looking for here? Bait and switch isn't doing much for you. Could just be more creatures. Get a lot of the artifacts down early, which is going to be really good since that Whispering Reliquary isn't down yet, so they're not really clogging your hand. And so those are just going to give a lot of incremental value, especially having one in each house now. Secret Needle doesn't do a ton against this deck, except for kind of the littler creatures in Dis. There's a lot of armor and stuff in the Sanctum. See a pawn sacrifice, though, to take care of both of those succubus. So we're going to start getting those 7-card hands. And one more Amber Pip will put Elaina in check here. See if she's got one. Yep, got the Ring of Invisibility. So a soft check with the Titan mechanic, and then a second one on the Relentless Whispers, not getting the value of the steal, but just getting some damage on that Grecking, so it can't fight and steal either of these. And then the Life Ward. So that might just be a key coming through. Didn't go to 7, so Drumble's not going to be doing anything. We do get the Reap with Grecking and then a Control the Weak. Probably back into Shadows, yeah. Just going to tax that house that you just kind of burned out of there. And now getting to check also, and Elaina maybe not having any creatures to cover up that Titan mechanic, so we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Umbra or something, yeah. So we do have a creature to cover that up. We do have a Dodger as well, so it's probably the right call. Wasn't as ideal as you hope, but no crazy Amber Burst at least. But again, more board you have to kind of deal with on Karen's side. And we've got the Library Access turn coming early. So we've got the Spectral Tunneler and Dimension Door, a Wild Wormhole for Blinding Light, most likely hitting the shadows here. Try and stop that stealing. So the big question will be after this turn, if Elaina has found the Effervescent Principle, because this is probably going to be a really big turn. Professor Essa being able to do, yeah, just some crazy Hysteria turns. We don't have any Logos creatures on the board yet. So we'll see if we can kind of dig to some of those. And we haven't seen the phase shift yet, so that is still live if we can draw it. Twin Bolt taking care of the Mother and the Naughty. Looks like the stun was on the Logos as well. So definitely expecting to kill some of these things at least. Wow, and it does not quite get there, so we don't see the big Hysteria play, but probably the tempo swing Karen needed there to stay in it, especially looking at the board we were. Oh, and we do see the EP. That's brutal. And the mechanic getting covered up again. We've got a second Mother coming down. Yeah, damage on the Grecking, getting that killed by the Anomaly Exploiter. Yeah, that was a great response from Elaina there. Exactly what she needed to see. And that is pretty crippling for Professor Essa having the Library Access turn already over. We do have a lot of bursts still to come from Sanctum, especially with the double Virtuous Works, which we've got one of them coming down now. But lots of momentum on Elena's side now. But we've seen before, Sanctum creatures, especially in Coda, are not something, or just the Sanctum house in Coda is not something you want to, not something you want to take too lightly, especially when there's the Epic Quest. So let's see what we've got. We've got 3 Sanctum in archives and 3 in the discard. So 5 left to find total. It's going to take some time to get that, but I don't remember. I don't think Anteater has any answers to that. So just going to have to try to outrace that epic quest. It's just a very tough call because that Sanctum is also about your best way to deal with this board. Having nothing on the board does turn off that Dodger for a little bit here, but this board is just going to do more and more kind of incremental damage to you the longer it takes you to deal with it. Still no Hysteria, so that'll do some disruption for sure, especially bouncing 3 different houses now. But some of these, like, you're not sad if you're Elaina to get bounced back. Okay, Karen going into Dis. We do have the Arise for not a ton of value, but with the Hysteria, that is much more brutal. And we've got the key to Dis there. Not sure how I missed that, but that is also going to be a pretty crucial bit of creature control in this game. Lots of disruption coming down now as well with the double Succubus, Dust Imp for kind of that insurance policy, and then the Gret King making those mothers really dangerous to put down because it could just snag one of them. Big turnaround there from Karen. Kind of one of those things where the Life Ward maybe came down one turn too late for Elaina, but we'll see. There's still plenty to play. We have not seen... Oh, we did see the 3 Fates. So some of that creature control on Elena's side coming one turn too early as well. Do we still have both Control the Weaks still to come down? So you could just stop Karen from even being able to use this board for a couple turns. The problem is those Succubus are just going to really hurt you until you can deal with them. Which... Is Lights Out gone? Still have the Lights Out, which can kind of buy you some time. Poison Wave gets some damage on him. You can kill one with a Secret Needle. So there are probably a couple options that Elena's looking at here, but do need some answer. Looks like a Logos Call, though. Do we have... Interesting call. Probably just going to be dumping a lot of creatures, trying to kind of flood the board a little bit, and at least try to counteract some of this Succubus disruption for a turn. But there's a good chance that Gret King just starts stealing some stuff and yeah, really turning the momentum efficiency-wise on Karen's side. Valen Analyst, though, is another one of those cards that you don't really think about too much in Coda until you see it start working, and it can do a lot of damage. It's not usually your first choice when you've got other things like Mother on the board of what to target, but it is a very dangerous card. Karen, though, not in too much trouble as far as the board goes, though. It always has the key to Dis as backup. I think this 5 Amber is now the question. If you don't have Amber answer in Dis, do you fight off the Titan mechanic with the Gret King instead of taking something like the Mother, or do you just let that key go through? Got the help from Future Self to shuffle the deck. We've got the Neurosiphon, so the Titan mechanic not really much of an issue here. Ooh, and the Life Ward. So plenty of disruption on Elena's side as well. Shutting down any more creatures from coming down. Still getting a hand of 6. I think they just didn't have enough to even draw anything, so they're just down to what their 6 left from that turn. Karen goes right back into Dis, not able to play any creatures this turn anyways, meaning there's probably not a way to stop this key, so going to be, again, a lot of that momentum just on the Amber side, still on Elena's side there, especially with the Control the Weaks still to come. Those could really lock this game out fast if Karen doesn't get a lot of Amber pressure here. Which we do have the Dust Imp, we have a couple Succubus that can reap, and we'll see what the Gret King does. So you can definitely get to check this turn. Again, the question is, do you give up the key for 5 Amber? Do you just reap across the board and then key to Dis here? It's actually pretty tempting, because this Valen Analyst is also going to just keep doing work with all these artifacts here if you don't fight a couple times. So yeah, very tough call. And with the reshuffle of the deck, that means there could be a life ward coming down again next turn, which those life wards are also super scary for this epic quest. They can easily turn that off for a turn. The Control the Weaks can turn that off for a turn. So you can't really rely on that, even if you kind of get the archiving you want. Okay. Goes for the Valen Analyst grab. Do you have any... Interesting. So we're going to get a dummy Dominator Bauble proc. Okay, and then we do see the Gateway right at the end just to get the Amber total back up. Discarding the Ember Imp, so that that life ward coming in pretty important there for Elaina to keep more of that disruption from coming down. Again, I don't think they actually drew anything on that last turn, so this is probably a mix of shadows and discs in hand, not including the life wards, probably including both Control the Weaks or close to that. And we've got the library down as well, so you can just kind of start digging for stuff you need. But you're on a clock with that epic quest, with 3 known Sanctum in the archives. This is a good game. This is very tight. Both going to be probably at 3 Amber. I don't see too much Amber getting stolen. We could see, I think a Schuler did get bounced, right? So there might be a Schuler in Elena's hand still. I would have to look back at that, which would be some steel. I don't remember what happened to that Schuler. I think it got hit by the Hysteria. So I think that's still in hand, but Schuler and 1 Control the Weak does not quite get you to check here. So that's probably the question for Elaina is, can you get to check? And if so, is it more worth it than maybe a play that develops you a little bit more? Because Karen is very close on your heels as far as Amber total. Okay, so we're going to see shadows. We see a lights out for no value except the Amber. Probably going to see a couple Umbras. Got a Poison Wave. Umbra, Dodger. Secret Needle of damage on the Umbra just so you have that chance to kill it next turn. So big turn for Karen here. Can you get to check? And can you do it in a way that you don't just get all of your Amber stolen back by the shadows? What are we still looking at? Probably another Ezekiel. We've probably got Duma. Another Virtuous Works. Oh no! Do we see the epic quest? We did see the archives getting pulled, but the question is, Karen might just be doing that for the sake of the turn. It's a very tough call for Karen, having... So we'll see what happens here. It might be you throw Duma into Dodger to try and find the last Sanctum card. So we'll see. We've got 3 so far. We did see the EP. Elaina had the EP right after the library access turn, but no Control of Weaks on Elena's side is very rough. Oh, and we don't get it. So it is a miss. The steel is shut down on the shadow side there, but we did not find the cards we needed with the Duma to get to 7 there. I think it was exactly 6. Oh, maybe it was only 5. So yeah, I think it was kind of more just the Karen had to do what she needed to do to try and keep that turn going, and that included using all of that Sanctum. So crazy turn. We do see the Control of the Weak into Logos now from Elaina. I mean, into Logos, I don't think... I mean, that still leaves you with the Phase Shift and Wild Wormhole, but I don't know that there's many cards you can find with those that will help you here. I didn't get the Phase Shift. Wow. What a close end of game. Come on, Linasu. What are you doing in there? Wow. And Logos being what Karen had a lot of there, but that was a awesome game. There was a lot of cool stuff there. Yeah, that Control of the Week, not seeing those till the very end probably changed it a decent amount, but not yeah, not finding the Sanctum cards you needed with the Doomer. So let's take a look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, only 5 cards on the Sanctum. So really, it was just like this is what Elaina was expecting. I think that makes sense. That first matchup was very rough with the bouncing. Yeah, no, I there was a lot of momentum shifts in that game. I think thinking through what cards were left, we said earlier when the Sanctum Archive happened, I think there was only 5 Sanctum cards left for Karen to find total, and there was still 7 cards in draw when she started that turn. So like it would have been pretty incredible to find it. It definitely could have happened. But based on the board state, she had to pull that Sanctum to deal with the Shadow Steel, because obviously this Logos isn't really going to do anything about that. It's just going to sit there and get stolen from when these fight into you. So, yeah, but so many momentum shifts there. It was really, really cool. All right. Bring my face back really quick. So let's take a look at the brackets now that we've got that sorted out. Again, congrats to both players. Obviously, it's really fun that each of them won one of them. But again, they both have the chance to fight back and play each other again in these brackets. So this is bracket A. We've got we're not going to even know who they're playing for a little bit. So Karen winning this one in game 1 with Oakhorn. It means we're not going to be waiting for the winner of the losers bracket here, which is actually very close. So now Karen's going to have to fight, go against Dick Rowland. And then the winner of that pops right back up here with their second deck. So let's take a look at those decks. We've got... Sorry, I'm very into this now and I want to look at these. Where's Dick Rowland's name on here? Did I just miss it? Must have missed it. Elaina, Oakhorn. So we've got Elaina will be on Galaxy. Okay. And there we go. Dick Rowland is on Mordecai. I don't know if I know these decks super well. Galaxy Tycho. I mean, I know Galaxy's name for sure. Double Library, Double Nature's Call, Double EP, Graft, Double Mother. So basically like a little bit different than what we just saw in those codas. A little bit more similar maybe to the deck from the first game, but way more Amber control, lots of disruption, lots of big burst in that Untamed. Scary deck. Mordecai is a DT deck, which is very interesting. Also going to be super, super fast with 35 expected Amber, 19 Amber pips. Some steel here. I think this is mostly just a gas deck, so that's really what both of these are going to be, but I would expect this Amber control to be doing a lot of work in that matchup. So that will be in the A bracket, Elaina versus Dick Rowland, and then winner of that will come back and go against Karen. Okay, so let's look at B bracket then. B bracket is going to be. And sorry, thank you for everyone who tuned in to watch this. Again, I know it was very short notice. Been trying to get this game scheduled for a while. I'm really glad we finally got it in. They're two fantastic games. Looks like, okay, we've still got a little bit of plays to happen here. We've got Ire Daily and Emperor Riku, and then Shaka and Aviator. So Karen's going to wait a little bit to see who she's playing against for that play back in against Elaina. Karen is going to be playing. Oops, did I miss it now? No. Quinn. Okay, so many high-powered decks. This is such a crazy tournament. But I love it. So, especially as we get close to the end of these brackets, hopefully there's, again, more commentary like this one, Fudginator, from me, from whoever can hop in. It's really, really fun to do it, and it's really awesome to see some of these super high-powered decks. Yeah, and again, thanks to Karen for running this. Huge congrats to both, and another congratulations to Elaina for both the National and Vault Tour wins. It's awesome stuff. So much competitive Keyforge going on right now. I love it. All that said, I was not planning to be streaming right now, so we are going to cut this off. I'll try to get this up on YouTube fast, though, for anyone who wants to go back and see it. Otherwise, you can just snatch the VOD off of Twitch. Thank you so much again. We will see you all later. Bye-bye.